Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our February monthly meeting. We've got a double topic for our presentation today. So we're going to get started here with the first one, which is the new iMacPro. We'll have some conversations about that. If you have questions, you can text a message to MacGroup-313@icloud.com, and I will see it here. And that'll be great for messages, so that way I can repeat it and everyone can understand what your question is, and we can move along that way and hopefully get it answered. We are going to start off, as always, with our question and answer segment. The microphone is over there. If you have any questions, please step up to the microphone so we can get them asked and hopefully answered. Again, if you could please silence your phones so that way we don't have any ringing or doorbells or anything else going on during the presentation, that would be greatly appreciated. So without further ado, we'll get started with our Q&A session. Does anybody have any questions? If you do, please step right up to that microphone and speak clearly into it.
Yes. Question.
There you go.
Question, I guess, just an observation. They've changed the, the format of Apple Mail somewhat. So, all right.
313.
Yeah, go on.
It used to be that after I composed a message, I could either send this by clicking on the box there on the pane. I could either send it, or if I wanted to save it as a draft, I could do that.
Okay.
Now, I've upgraded. I'm in El Capitan, and I assumed Mail would automatically upgrade with it. Well, that's probably a mistaken assumption. But now, if I want to send it, I have to go up to the menu bar and drop down. There's a menu that says Send, and I hit that. It's not in the pane. And I didn't see anything where it said Save as a draft. So, because sometimes you're interrupted in composing your message, or it's only half formulated in your mind, and you want to come back at a later time and finish it off. So, have you noticed anything like that where you save it as a draft?
I haven't noticed that, but when you create an email, there should be a bar across the top that gives you the send or save. Since you are talking about El Capitan and that's 10.11, I would think that there's a view feature that might have been disabled somehow, and that's why you're not seeing that bar pop up when you're creating a new email, because you should be able to, at the very least, under File, choose Save as Draft, and so you could come back to it later. Do we have anybody?
On the email page, you go cancel, you have a choice of.
Right, that's what I thought. But it's like if you hit the red dot, usually it asks you, do you want to save this? Do you want to, are you sure you want to delete it? And that, have you tried that to see what would happen? Okay, all right. Yes, sir.
Possible you might, when he upgraded, might have gone to their stock standard. He goes to the customize the bar on it, drag it down there. I think one of those is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you open up Mail, and I don't have 1011 on any machine here today, except the one right next to you, but it hasn't been set up yet, so I couldn't tell you why you can't see it. I would assume that when you're in the Mail program, if you went to, I think under View, you would be able to show toolbars, because it sounds like the toolbar is missing from the the mail in there for some reason. But yeah, well, you can definitely do that, but can you hide it in 1011? Like you can hide like Safari's toolbar? I would think you can, but I don't know. Does anyone else have any suggestion or answer? When I get home, I will fire up a machine with 1011 and just check that out. And I'll try and put that up on the boards. Okay?
That's not a change that I remember seeing.
No, that wouldn't be a feature at all. That would be a hiccup. At least I would say it would be. So, okay.
Yeah, I think I told those parts, but
Yeah. Okay.
I don't remember that.
All right. Do we have any other questions today? Do we have any announcements anyone would like to make? Okay. By a show of hands, how many people are here for the first time? Okay. Well, that answers that question real quick. All right. So, in an effort of transparency, I would like John to stand up. I gave John his iTunes gift card that we didn't have last month because I left them at home. So he has his card today, and I am now an honest man yet again. So thank you, John. Congratulations on winning the card. Yes. I don't think he did. Would you like to wrestle him for it?
Well, next month.
Okay, next month. And whoever wins this month's card, it's here. And Brian has all the rest of the cards for the rest of the year. So we're good and ready to go. At this point in time, we will get started. I would like to do a public service announcement real quickly, if you don't mind. There are a lot of emails going out claiming to be from Apple, saying that your iTunes account has been compromised. You made a purchase for like $90 on some game that you didn't do. When you get those emails, you can forward it to spam@apple.com and then delete it from your system. By forwarding it to Apple, it will give them another address for them to look at and try to update that and try to go after the people that are the providers for that email, because it is a hoax. Also, at this time of the year, people will be hearing things about, I'm with the IRS. You owe us a lot of money. We're sending police over tomorrow to arrest you. But I have a friend that can help you if you buy $1,000 in iTunes gift cards or Apple Store gift cards. Please tell all your friends that that too is a hoax and to just merely hang up on that individual. That would be helpful to everybody. Second, Apple has a battery program going on right now for the iPhone 6, 6S, 6 Plus, 6S Plus, 7 and 7 Plus, and the iPhone SE. If you have purchased any of these phones new in the last year, you are not affected by this. If you've had these phones for a number of years, you may want to take advantage of the fact that a new battery will not cost you $79, but will be only $29 until the end of this year. You have the whole year to do it. I would beg and ask that you don't wait until December to come in to get this battery. Some people's jobs are hard enough as it is, and by having a big swell of people come in during holiday season looking to get their battery replaced, it's just going to add to the chaos. Right now, this program was supposed to roll out end of January, and some high-thinking person in corporate decided January 2nd was a good day to start this program. when we did not have any batteries in stock worldwide. We had some, but not enough for the demand. At this point in time, you can call AppleCare up. They can run a diagnostic on your phone and tell you if your battery is one of three things: passing, bad, or consumed. Consumed means you wore it out. Bad is, it's a bad battery. Passing is obviously passing. A lot of people have come in to get their battery with a misunderstanding from their TV stations or media sources that this program got to come in now and do it right away because it's not going to happen ever again. And I can't tell you how many people say, well, I heard it ended at the end of the month. No, end of the year. So if you know someone that has one of those phones that is complaining about battery life, then, or possibly even intermittent shutdowns, which would be related to the battery, encourage them to call AppleCare, have them run a diagnostic, and have them get a battery ordered for them. And then that way the store of their choice will contact them and say, your battery's here, you have a week to come in and we'll replace your battery. If it is for any of the people in our group as well, I will just tell you, if you are taking it in for the battery to be replaced, expect a minimum of a 2-hour turnaround time during the week. Expect a minimum of 3 hours on the weekends. And that's just because you are not the only person coming in. I will say that there are typically well north of 20 phones on the bench all day long. And the bulk of them are not shattered displays, but just broken or just batteries that people want to get replaced. Apple is more than happy to take your $30 today if you really want to spend it, or you can wait till the fall when maybe you really need a battery. Another thing is, if you look on your phone, go to settings, scroll down to battery, it'll show you what is using up your battery in the last 24 hours, and then you can also tap on it and it'll show you what's using your battery up in the last 7 days. We are finding that social media apps in particular are killing the batteries because they're running location services in the background, even though you may have turned it off. And that means that their app has a hiccup, which would not be a surprise, Facebook, or Snapchat or Instagram or Twitter, even Pinterest. We also have seen where anything that's the other side of 30%, either you use that app a lot or that app has a problem. We have seen Mail and Safari and some other built-in programs well north of 40%. And the solution for that is restore it through iTunes, and that will solve the issue. So 1, make sure you have a backup. 2, you can restore the phone and then put your backup back to the phone, and that should solve it because it will re-download those apps fresh. Deleting the apps off the phone will not solve that issue. You have to restore the phone. So that is my public service announcement, and I have one question. Right. So you're in settings. Scroll down a little bit past general. Just past general, at the bottom of that section, you'll see privacy, but above it, it says battery. Tap on the battery. There you go. So give it a minute. It will scroll down just a little. It will show you what apps are using what percentage of battery. The future software update that Apple has promised to release is going to make this even easier to find. And so that way you can see what's acting as a drain on your battery. And what's the percentage? Okay. Okay. So Facebook's not bad because it's under 30. Solitaire because you admitted you use it a lot. That's fine. That's what it's supposed to be. I have seen people come in and the YouTube app is at 79%. Oh, and I asked them, are you watching that much YouTube? And they, yes. Okay, then that's normal. That's why you're charging your battery all the time. Because we're seeing that their battery is still holding 90% of full charge capacity, but they're complaining that they have to charge it multiple times a day. Well, if you're streaming video, yes, you will be charging multiple times a day. So that's where that comes into play. Lou?
Very good luck. About the Apple battery that's around it.
So you've got the battery case, yeah. Yeah, those things are great. But software can cause issues. So just keep that in mind. If you think that's it, a restore is always a good first start. If not, you can make an appointment for your favorite Apple store or call AppleCare, get the diagnostics run, and you can find out if you truly need a battery. Now, if it says consume, yes, you need one. There's no doubt. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so the Apple Store, if you make an appointment for the Genius Bar, they can run a diagnostic on the watch, and they can tell you what kind of shape the battery is in. It might be a case where my watch was acting strange and depleting way too fast. I did just a reset through the watch, through the app, on the general app, and that solved it for a little bit. But right now, I am charging once a day. I can make it till about 11 o'clock, and then I've got to put it on the charger. But I am doing the activity app, where we're trying to close the rings on the activity app every day. So that uses a lot of oomph out of the battery as well. No. Now, when they run the diagnostic test, it'll one of three things: pass, fail, or consumed. How long have you had your watch? Okay. A Series 1 or the original version? Okay. So this is an original Apple Watch. And then there was Series 1 and Series 3 came out. Or Series 2, sorry. And then now Series 3. Series 1, okay. So do you have AppleCare on the watch? Okay. So they can replace the battery in the watch. They send it off to a service center to be done. I want to say a battery replacement for the watch is $79. So should you want to do that, you could. They could also, if need be, if the watch needs to be restored, that too, for some odd reason, has to go to the service center. We are unable to restore the watches in store. We can reset it, but we can't restore it. But we think this is just because Apple is trying to keep real tight reins on the watch so they can track all the experiences and all the possible hiccups to go from there. Jim?
There's two interesting things. Going back to the iPhone, there's two interesting things. One is that if you leave the screen brightness up full, it's a beautiful picture, but that's just like leaving your flashlight on. It's a real battery health.
Yeah.
The other thing is that if you use that iPhone, carry it in a place, in a building that's got a lot of metal frame, or other reasons for a weak cellular phone, you just simply have to accept that your battery life, because your phone has to shout louder to be heard by the cell tower.
Right.
And that takes more power.
So
you just, if you're going to carry it in a place where there's a weak cell signal, then your only real choice, if you want it to last 12 hours or 14 hours, is get the outside battery.
right. So I assisted a number of nurses and doctors that say, my signal is just horrible when I'm at work. I'm like, you're in a hospital. At that point in time, you're going to have poor battery life. On your days off, I bet your battery's fine. And they're like, yeah. So like Jim suggested, a battery case is a good idea. What we've suggested to them is, unfortunately, a good option is to put your phone in airplane mode. So it's not trying to pick up a Wi-Fi signal or searching for a cell signal. Yeah, that doesn't make it useful, but that's where it is. So hang on, Phyllis.
Yeah, but on the watch, I'm telling you, my hands are going home. The one thing I did to save battery, turned off the wake on race. I have it set so that it doesn't trigger until I test it. And that saves a tremendous amount of battery. The other thing that I do is go through a lot of are on my phone will automatically install the counter. If I don't use it on the watch, there's no sense of keeping it there because it's trying to connect. And that's another battery.
Right. Okay, so we had a couple more questions, but we need to probably get rolling here. So, Ken?
Real quick, do the test. Do that.
For the phone or the watch?
Oh,
The phone, they can do that over the phone. Apple Care can do that with you. The caveat is you have to be someplace where there's Wi-Fi. So as long as you've got Wi-Fi, they can run the test for you. Okay? Mike?
Dave, I'm looking at my phone. Security system is using iPhone 3%. It also standby as an
Okay.
used 16.
Okay.
I don't know why this.
That makes two of us. I don't know either. What security system are you running on your phone? Are you running an app for higher level?
App.
Okay.
Works.
Okay. So it's always trying to talk back and forth to the house to go from there. So that would be, because it's an ongoing thing running all the time, you are going to get shorter battery life, most likely, due to the fact that it's always trying to talk to your security and update it, like for cameras and for motion and things like that.
Showing me
Yeah, but that's apparently yes. So, yes.
Yeah.
Right. So, Mike's using an app for his home security. It's using 96% of his battery. So that's how much it's taking off of every full charge. You know, that's the heaviest thing. Facebook could be using 40%. The home unlock screen, I have seen, because people have it in their pocket or in their purse, and when they grab it, they hit the button and it lights up. And people are like, yeah, I'm always checking the time. Okay, well, if you're always checking the time, you're enabling that. That's a lot of power to kick on the display to go from there. So for some people, I say, don't look so often. For other people, it's, okay, well, you'll just have to modify that a little bit. That's on you. That's not the phone. So, sure. So if Notes is at 55%, there's a hiccup in the software because it should not be using that. The Notes app, unless you are constantly in it, the Notes app should only be in like the single-digit percentage, maybe in the teens. You know, if you're at 40%, yeah, there's a hiccup there. Okay, Sheeta?
No, I had a suggestion about increasing the battery life on your Apple Watch. There is a settings under General Accessibility to reduce motion, and it will turn off some of the animation on the Apple Watch.
Yeah, so speaking of that, you can have different faces on your watch. There's a Mickey Mouse face, and Mickey waves his arms and hee hee and does that. I've been running the Toy Story one on my watch for the longest time. And you get all the different characters, and they run around, and it's funny. But I also realized it's draining the heck out of my battery. So I just went back to a standard face at that point.
This is an Apple Watch battery that I can just
Oh, an
yeah, an
external?
battery. I can just sit my Apple Watch on it if I'm in the car, if I'm here, and it will recharge the battery. It will recharge my Apple Watch about 2.5 times for the entire day.
Before you have to charge that again? That's pretty slick.
This is on Amazon. I'll put a link to it in the recap. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so that's where we are. Thank you very much for letting me get that out of the way. We are going to start our presentation now. So, first thing up. The original iMac was introduced in May of 1998, marking the turnaround of Apple's decline and struggles over the previous decade. It also heralded Steve Jobs' return to Apple as not just another CEO of a computer company. To say he was modest would be an understatement. It's been a wild ride for Apple and for all of us Apple users over the last 20 years. A little history. In the upper left corner are the original 5 flavors or lifesavers collection of the G3 iMac models. This is the original colors. There was the Bondi blue that was in the previous picture. So, the upper right corner is the next generation with the G4 iMac, proving that design and function can work hand in hand. The G4 is probably the best looking iMac we've ever had. Lower right would be the G5 iMac that just brought sheer horsepower to the iMac platform, just offering a ton of computing power for a lot of users. The lower left looks quite similar. That would be the very first Intel iMac. It also was the first time that they put a camera in an iMac. The upper right corner shows the 2007 through 2009 iMac models that had the black back. On the left side would be what looks like the same one, but a silver back, and those would be the 2010 through 12 models. In the lower right corner is the 2012 to current generation of iMacs. Extra thin, extra light. They weigh about half what the previous ones weighed. So that's just a little bit of a look down the history books at the iMacs over the last 20 years. So this question is quite legitimate, and the answer of who really is the iMac Pro made for is not everyone. This is not a computer for the average user. This is a computer for somebody that needs a lot of horsepower, a lot of oomph in what they're doing. This is the new iMac Pro running, I believe, a 3D motion program, which is pretty impressive. This computer has the same screen as a 27-inch iMac, which is the 5K Retina. It's really stunning. But then again, the 27-inch iMac is truly stunning as well, but without all the horsepower. So, honestly, the iMac Pro is not for most people, and that isn't a bad thing. It won't let you surf the web or check your mail any faster. It won't let you go through eBay any faster. What it will do is let you get your work done faster than before. Apple believes that this computer is designed in mind, particularly for photographers, for video editors, music producers. A surprise to me was for podcasters, because I didn't think there was all that much to it, but I am learning that there is a lot of work that is required when putting a podcast together. Also, 3D designers are enjoying the heck out of this because this is a machine that just gives them all the oomph they could ever dream of. And then anyone else that makes a living with a computer, I would say the iMac Pro would probably be a good solution. Again, this is showing some 3D work going on. When you see it in action, it's breathtaking sometimes how amazing this thing runs. Where I work, we have one set up. We have Final Cut Pro running on it. And anybody that does video work, you are much smarter than I will ever be because I cannot do video work. But when I see them scrubbing through a video file and it doesn't lag, it just goes, there's no delay, and all these people that do video work are just, their jaws are dropping because it just can handle what you're throwing at it. So, some of the features. Space gray color. Okay, is that a feature? Maybe not a feature, but it's really beautiful in person. The 5K Retina display is, again, breathtaking. This computer starts with 32 gigs of memory. Let that sink in for a second. 32 gigabytes of memory. You can go to 64. You can go up to 128 gigs of memory in this computer. That's scary that it'll let you do so much. But that's also why this computer can rip through things so easy. This is the first iMac that only comes with a solid state drive in it. You can order a solid state drive in a 21-inch iMac or in a 27-inch iMac. You definitely can. But the base models come with still a spinning platter. But if you want to go to that, you can. The Fusion drive was the start of it. You had an SSD and a traditional drive, giving you space. So a 1 terabyte solid state drive compared to a 1 terabyte Fusion drive just leaves the Fusion drive in the weeds as far as performance and speed. Also, the processor in these models is an 8-core, a 10-core, a 14-core, or even an 18-core. If you bought a 27-inch iMac, it's a 4-core processor. This one out of the box, the base model, starts as an 8-core and just really moves. Another great thing about it is the video card that's in here. The Vega 56 is an 8 gigabyte video card. That's a lot of memory for a video card. They also have the Vega 64, which is a 16 gigabyte graphics card. As a coworker described it, it's a beastly performance difference between the models. So if this is something that you need to do for a living, this is an amazing computer to do it with. This is showing some of someone using this for an automotive work. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a comparison between buying a 27-inch iMac and that iMac Pro. So if we spec it out to try to match performance, if you jump it up, you're going to be at $3,700 on a 27-inch iMac. That's with everything. That's loaded to the hilt. I just priced one out and just did, okay, add all the memory, add all the biggest, fastest hard drive, give me the best processor, give me the best of everything with it. And I went from an $1,800 computer to $3,700. Okay. You still get a slower processor. You still get a slower video card. you still get slower ports on the back of the computer. The base model iMac Pro starts at $4,999, so $5,000. It is a lot of money. But again, if you're not making your living with your computer, you don't need an iMac Pro. You don't. That's all there's to it. So next up, these are some of the features in the iMac Pro that really set it apart from anything else Apple currently offers, including their own Mac Pro, which hasn't been updated since 2014. Well, there was a tweak, but you're right. So, it's got 4 USB 3 ports in it. Okay, that's good. It has 4 Thunderbolt 3 USB-C ports, which are blazing fast. Yeah. So, it also has the 10 gigabyte Ethernet. Now, most people are, oh, I've got a gigabit Ethernet. Yeah, this is 10. So if you're moving data through a network, this is a good thing. The hidden gem in this computer surprised the heck out of me. The SD card slot that's in there, yes, it will read your regular SD cards. But it also reads UHS 2 cards. So, UHS 2 SD cards move data 50% faster than the fastest SD card that is currently on the market. So, as an example, let's say you have a Final Cut Pro 20 gig file and you need to move it. Normally, if you were moving it from an SD card, that file would take about 5 minutes to move. Okay. UHS 2 will move that same file in just under 2 minutes. Okay. If you are copying the file to the desktop, not into like Final Cut, regular copying takes 3 minutes and 30 seconds. UHS 2 does it in 1 minute, 9 seconds. So again, if you are making a living with your computer, time is money. And if you can save time, you're saving money. If you were copying, say, 5 20 gigabit files a week, you could save 15 minutes. Over the course of the year, you could save up to 13 hours. You know, it's possible. So there's an advantage, one, of using the newer cards if you're moving the data that way from that port. And for the people that are using those cards in their cameras, that's pretty trick way to do things. Yes, Lou?
You were aware that card protocol tops out at 2 terabytes.
Okay.
You have any like
Okay. Awesome.
I disagree about that being primary. That's right, really nice for intake. But when you're actually going out to render, the 10 times faster Ethernet off to your render farm makes an hour process down to a 6-minute
Right.
for the media.
I'll be honest. This was my idea of a hidden gem, the SD card for moving the data that fast. Because, 10 gigabit Ethernet? Oh, that's awesome. That one's just right out there. This one's, they're not advertising that fact that it does that. And that's why in my personal opinion, it's a hidden gem. But I agree with you. If you're moving data in or out, you might as well do it as fast as you can both ways. So, Lou?
this camera, even though it flash,
Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, that'll be helpful. Yes.
Don't mean to interrupt. Did you say there was a way that we question
Yes.
you?
Yes.
Can you give any data?
I would be happy to. That would be MacGroup-313 at iCloud.com. Okay. Let's see if I can make this work. I can. Yay! I was worried it wasn't going to play. So this is the inside of an iMac Pro. It has 2 fans in it. It is incredibly quiet. Even if you are running a heavy load through it, it is to the point where you're like, I know it's on because I see the screen, but I don't hear anything, or I just hear a faint hum, whereas the 27-inch iMac is noticeably louder. When you're putting a heavy load on it, you hear the fans ramp up, and they run hard because they're trying to keep everything cool.
Yeah, it's like, you got a maxed out 1,000 hertz with,
Okay. Yeah. So that would make it interesting. So yeah. So while this is the quietest iMac Apple says they've ever made, they're not kidding. This thing really is quiet, even under, a lot of stress. Coming up, so Space Gray really isn't a feature, but when you see the Space Gray keyboard and the Space Gray mouse, you do the, oh, that's unique. How do you get a Space Gray mouse or a Space Gray keyboard? You walk into an Apple store and say, I want one. And for $5,000, you get an iMac with that Space Gray mouse or keyboard. It is not available separately. Hopefully in the future it will be. You can also get the Space Gray trackpad as well. One of the other neat features with this computer, and this is just the Apple nerd in me enjoying the heck out of this, it comes with a black power cord. Oh, okay. Gets better. It comes with the lightning cable, so you can charge your keyboard and your mouse. It's black. It's the only way you can get an official black Apple lightning cable. So, no, unfortunately the keyboard is not backlit. That would be really great. Hopefully they would do that. But yeah, at this point, when the iMac Pro first came out, a lot of people, is it a backlit keyboard? Oh no, I need a backlit keyboard. And so they bought a different type of board. And they were putting those keyboards and the mice up on eBay for sale. Someone paid $3,000 for the keyboard and the mouse. I don't get it. Obviously more money than brains falls into that category. But it was one of those, yep, it was a completed auction on eBay. The mice were randomly showing up for like $800 because some people just had to have it. And same with the trackpad. If you order the trackpad with the iMac Pro, it adds $149 to the price. But you get to keep your mouse. If you don't want the mouse and you just want that, then they cut you a deal a little bit. But you're still spending a lot of money for that. But I joked with one person that said, how do I get that black lightning cable? And well, just like you get the mouse, $5,000 later, you can have one. So, and then for those of us that are really on the nerdy side, yes, the Apple stickers that come with this computer are black, just like the Mac Pro. They're not the white ones. So, all right. iMac Pro buyer concerns. So, the price for a lot of people is a stopper, because $5,000, that's a lot of money. But for $5,000, you're not getting a faster iMac out of the box, short of upgrading the same model and spending more money. And like you said, you can max one of these guys out, and it is $13,348 plus tax. That is a 4 terabyte SSD. That is 128 gigs of RAM. That is the 16 gig video card. And that is also the 18 core processor. This is for somebody that all they do is heavy lifting all day long. So you can, the price is what it is. A lot of people are concerned about upgradability. You can upgrade the memory on an iMac Pro. You can't do it like you do on the current 27-inch iMac. The current 27-inch iMac, if you lay it down on its face, lift the leg up or the stand, there is a door that pops open that gives you access to put more memory in it. The memory in the iMac Pro is quite different than the memory that's in the standard iMacs. And so to do this, you would have to remove the display. And to remove the display on this model, it can be done, but it is a lot of work. And there is always a concern that you could damage something or even chip the glass as you're taking it off. Because it is held by an adhesive all the way around the screen. And it's very strong, but if you take it off, you have to have brand new adhesive to put it back on. And you do have to clean the old adhesive off as well. It comes off fairly easily, surprisingly, but pretty much to remove a display off of the current generation iMac or even the iMac Pro, we have a little tool that sort of looks like a pizza cutter. It's a plastic wheel that's sharp, and you roll it around the edges of the screen to cut through the adhesive. And then you have to slowly, carefully pull it apart, disconnect some cables, and then take it off the rest of the way. It's nerve-wracking. So it can be upgraded. It's some effort. I do not know if Apple is going to offer this service in the future to people that decide later on they want to upgrade it. That decision has not come down yet from, yes, we'll do this. I would think Apple would probably do this, but I mean, you're starting off with 32 gigs of RAM. You're doing pretty good. So we'll see where that goes in the future. The average user would probably have some difficulties doing it themselves, although it is not out of the realm of possibility, because I believe iFixit.com already has a disassembly video of the iMac Pro, and we'll sell you the kit to help you disassemble it and reassemble it, as well as upgrading your memory if that's what you want to do. Yeah. So, external boot is not supported. That surprised a great number of technicians that, what do you mean I can't boot up from another drive? And it's exactly that. You can't. It won't let you. The way it's, and there's a reason for it. Right. No, that's current, but out of the box, you can't. Right. The default configuration is you cannot boot from an external. Once you're up and running, you can go in and change settings, so you can do that. But out of the box, you're not booting to an external drive. But again, like Jim said, you can disable it through security settings.
That's part of this power user mentality, where it's power user of Logic Pro or whatever, not power user of computer hardware.
Correct.
You don't want them to even be able to mess with computer hardware. You want them to get that and done.
Right. Do the job, finish the video project. We've got a deadline. That's it. You don't want someone inside playing with the computer, tinkering around. It's, no, we're paying you to get this done, get it done. And we're giving you the most powerful tools to do it. Okay, that makes sense. Another thing, as a number of people in our group that have just purchased new computers have realized, you need dongles or adapters for your older technology. So with the USB-C plugs on the computers or the Thunderbolt 3 adapters, you might need an adapter to hook up to that hard drive that you want to use, or to hook up a monitor to the computer as well. If you have external monitors that you want to put on the computer, you're going to need adapters for that as well, because there is no easy just plug it in and go. No, there is no HDMI on this. And then part of the reason that they don't want you to external boot is because the SSD that is in this computer is actually two SSDs that they've paired together. So Apple refers to it as the split SSD design. This makes data recovery impossible. Now, that's Apple's line on this. Chances are, people that are using this for work are probably working off of external drives. So data recovery is probably not a huge concern for them. But for the people that do decide to buy one of these, if a drive fails, you are SOL. So Apple is telling people right up front, with this model, you probably should make sure, one, you're always making a backup, because trying to get stuff off of there, at this point, Apple is saying, no. And I think they're just going that route because it might be an easier statement than, well, let's try. I think that's probably where it is. I imagine this to, yeah, I imagine a lot of this is the split SSD design. I think this is sort of like a cross between the Fusion drives and like a RAID setup. I think it's a little bit of both, and that probably is why you're not going to be able to get stuff back if the unfortunate happens. No, you can back it up. You just can't boot from an external. So your super duper drive that you want that's bootable, you won't be able to boot up from that unless you go into security settings and say, yes, change this and make it work. But for the average person, I think that's sitting down using this machine, they're not going to go into those settings and change them. You know, you might, but I think most people that are sitting down in front of these, they're at some company and there's probably, a few of these there and they're all working on something. And they're probably keeping it that way for their own security concerns. Another thing with this computer, external monitors. I know there are a lot of people that like to have multiple monitors on their computers. And that was a feature with the Mac Pro. This iMac Pro will let you run two 5K displays at the same time, in addition to having the iMac's screen running as well. Do you need more than that? There are people that need more than that. I had a gentleman stop by our store that operates a garage. Okay. Why do you need an iMac Pro? And he's like, because I have security cameras set up all around my business, inside, outside, and I like having all the screens. And he bought an iMac Pro and 4 4K monitors. And he said, well, the monitors will be mounted up on the wall above my desk. The iMac will sit on my desk. And yeah, I don't need this. I don't need to spend this kind of money, but the fact that it can handle all of those, and all my feeds are not black and white. I've got high-res color feeds coming in from all my cameras because I want to see somebody out by my dumpster. I want to see somebody pulling in the side lot. I want to see somebody walking into the bathroom. I want to see somebody in the service area. Like, oh, okay. And he says, and I want to see it all at the same time. Oh, okay. He also admitted that he likes to watch soccer games and wants to have multiple games up at the same time on those days when he's at work. Okay, it's your money, sir. So that gives you the ability to do a lot with this computer.
Dave, on the center.
Yeah.
Is that a tab?
No. That is, I think that's a toolbar for whatever program it is currently in, which could be Final Cut.
It
I'm
shows
not
up
sure.
just like
No, I don't think it's the same as the touch bar on the MacBook Pros. I believe that's just the toolbar for that one program, and then they just have it down at the bottom so you can, as you're working on the other screens, you can go over to there and activate things. So, hang on a second. So last month, I thought I had a really funny joke that I was going to play on the group. And like the iTunes cards, I left it at home. So this month, this is not the grand prize.
Is this what's in the box?
If you'd like to guess, that is fine. That is the box the iMacPro comes in. It looks like the other boxes, except the picture's different. Ah, there is a slight difference. Inside of this box, Apple is, in an effort to be more environmentally conscious, they've done away with the styrofoam. Cardboard. Recycled cardboard that is really heavy duty. It slides right in. Instead of a white bag, it is a gray bag that the iMac is wrapped in. The mouse is in a little gray bag inside the box that fits up here on the keyboard. When you Mike, can you stand up for a second? Pick that up. Okay, that's the response I was hoping for. It's heavy. This is a heavy box. At first, our thought was, well, they just want to protect these well. And then it was, no, they've gone this route. One, to protect it. Two, so because styrofoam is not an easily recyclable material. By doing this, this box is 100% recyclable from the inside to the outside. The plastic handles can be recycled, and it is made from recycled product. The box, everything on the inside, is also, again, recycled product. Apple, for years, the inks that they use on the boxes are soy inks. High-end soy ink, but soy inks nonetheless. So that way, you don't have to worry about oil-based product that, unfortunately. So this is not, with the computer in it, it's only slightly heavier than what the box is. The computer itself weighs about, I think, 26 pounds. Not very heavy at all. The older iMacs were pushing 40 pounds. If you had a 27-inch iMac that had the CD drive on the side, that was heavier than heavy to carry around. Especially if you had to go.
Stackable and shipping.
Well, these boxes are shaped.
understand.
They've got a new shape to them. We've been doing that for about 2 years. So that way when they do get packed, one's this way, the other one's the other way. And so it'll fill it up and they can get an extra iMac on a pallet. Whereas before they couldn't because the boxes were squared off. To this, it was back and forth. It also helps for when if you're a store and you're selling these, when you're putting them on the shelves in the back room, every inch of space is good. If you have wasted space, that's exactly. So I encourage anybody that would like to, after the meeting, to pick this up just to get a general idea, because this is what it weighs. This actually weighs a little bit more than if you bought a standard 27-inch iMac. This box. It's just really weird how you pick it up. Okay. But that's because the standard iMac comes with the styrofoam inside. Okay? So that is my presentation on the iMacPro. I am sorry that my wife wouldn't let me spend $5,000 to buy one, because if she would have, it would have been on this table and I would have been demoing it for all of us right here. But she's a smart one.
Off over at Mike.
Yes, they were.
I still didn't rush it.
I know. Yeah, neither did I. They're taking a loss. No, I'm Dave. But no, so a lot of places will do that. You know, grocery stores have loss leader items. They sell things they'll discount it, and they don't care because they want to bring them in the door. Because they bring somebody in the door that wants to buy that, maybe they can sell them a printer. Maybe they can sell them a hard drive. Maybe they can sell them an external monitor, and that's where they make up their money. That too. Yes.
My sister says she watches all the buy things.
Right.
And she says that there are some Apple computers that are cheaper by buying them through or they'll throw in a lot of other things.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a gimmick or is
Yes.
that
Yep. So I'm assuming here that your sister was watching like Home Shopping Network.
she watches
Okay. So when they run their specials,
yeah.
they are on some things because they're trying to get rid of all this other stuff. The big item, they take a bath on. But the other items, they're selling at full price. But when they bundle it all in, it seems like such a great deal. I have also been told that sometimes on those, you are getting a refurbished product, possibly not a brand new product. And so that's how they can offer to give you the discount on it. Apple offers refurbished products as well. That's on their website, and you can see what's there. That website updates every day at 8:30 a.m. and you can see what's there. I've always told customers and friends that if you see it there early in the morning and you want it, buy it. Because if you come back after lunchtime, it will probably not be there. I've been burned that way a few times on things that I wanted to pick up, but I'm like, oh, I'll get it later. And when I went back later, it was gone. So Apple.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, you will see refurbished and reconditioned items. These are typically items that have been purchased in an Apple store and returned for whatever reason. Most of the reasons are, I don't need a 15-inch. A 13-inch will be fine. I don't need a 13-inch, and iMac is what I need. Because everybody, they buy it, and sometimes buyer remorse sets in. Sometimes they realize, I don't need a portable, I need a desktop, or vice versa. And that is all the Apple products. So if you look on there, you can see computers, you can see iPads, you can see phones. They have, currently they just started carrying the iPhone 7 on the refurbished site. So you can take advantage of those as well. There are some accessories there. Every now and then you'll find like time capsules or airports. Power cords? No. No, power cords, you're going to get gouged for $79. Yeah. If you buy a new computer, you'll get the power cord with it. But the power cord itself is, that's never on the refurbished or reconditioned site. It's always going to be what it is.
I bought
So.
from.
Yes.
You don't get the box.
You don't get the pretty box.
You don't get the white box.
Yeah. You get sometimes you get the white box, but not the one with the pictures on it. It's just a plain white box that says refurbished. And it comes in a brown box. And you get the same 1-year warranty. You can add Apple Care to it as well. So, and you probably saved a couple $100. Yeah.
Another thing, I also heard there's a secondary market who are willing to buy your box.
Yes.
They'll buy the box just because they like to put gifts in. So when you're done, you sell the box.
There are people that do that. That empty box sells for $300. Why? I don't know. But yeah, you're like, who would? Okay, I think the phrase "a fool and his money is soon parted" really is appropriate. So there are people buying things all the time. I admit, when it comes to older Apple technology, I am perusing eBay. I am looking at Craigslist, and oh look, he has a Newton. I want one of those. Or I want a quick take camera. Okay, I've got 2 of them. I'd like one more, the other model they had. And if I can convince Calvin to sell me his, I'd be all set. But until then, I'll wait, because I've seen these same cameras on eBay that are typically like from a school district, that they were used in the late 90s, and then they were mothballed, and now they're finally clearing out the warehouse. So that's it. Brian. The Quick Take 200, I have a 100 and a 150 that looks like binoculars. That puts its image on a 2 megabyte card.
Where is this?
In my house. So this is stuff I collect. It's things I collect, but they are Apple products. Yeah. Which, before I get into our next presentation, I'm going to do a selfless promotion for MacGroup-Detroit. Over here, I have a few computers that I need to get out of my house. And one of them, the one on the far end, I believe, is a 2007 iMac 20-inch. It has a 320 gig hard drive, 4 gigs RAM, and I am asking for a $75 donation to the Mac Group. If you'd like to take it home with you today, Brian will take your money. It is running El Capitan, the highest it'll go. The one next to it is its identical twin, except it does not have a hard drive in it. So if you would like to put a hard drive in it, you can get that one for even cheaper. I posted this up on our website in the for sale section. If you would like somebody to put a hard drive in it, there are a number of members here that can do this. I offered to do that, but you have to supply the hard drive. I will supply the labor, and I will load the operating system on it for you after that. Next to it, the last thing up there, is a nice little 20-inch ViewSonic monitor, but below it is a 2009 Mac Mini. So let's talk about how far we have come since 2009. This Mac Mini has 2 gigs of memory. It has a 120 gig hard drive. It's a really small hard drive nowadays. But when that first came out, sorry? Yes, both are very upgradable. That is also running El Capitan 10.11. And the monitor goes with it if you would like it. If you don't want it, I'm sure we can probably find a home for the monitor as well. I am making my wife happy by clearing out my garage office. And I'm hoping that by doing this, it can put some money in MacGroup-Detroit coffers as well. I think I was $75 on the working iMac. The one without a hard drive, I think I put down for $50. And I think I said maybe 100 on the Mac Mini and monitor. I think. And that. We can double check. I am willing to negotiate because I don't want to take them home. Yes. Neither of them. Nope. These are all Intel-based machines. Yeah. Nothing. I don't have any working Intel machine or PowerPC machines that I want to get rid of. So that's that. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Okay. That is correct.
So, for anybody pay so who?
Let me ask you this question. What size iMac is it? So there was a 15, a 17, and then a 20-inch screen. Okay. You are going to spend more to fix that than what it would cost you for me to give you a 17-inch version. Because I have 3 17-inch versions I'm looking for homes as well. So if you would like one, recycle the one you have, and I will give you a 17-inch one. Pardon me? Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So next month I will bring it for you. And I will load the latest operating system it can run, which I think is 10.5. Leopard. Yeah. So I'll bring it next month for you. And that, because I have 3 of them that I would like to see disappear. 2 of them for sure. Oh, I didn't say I was taking the old one. He has to recycle the old one. No, thank you. So, that is that. Okay, the next topic is on the HomePod. Okay? Next to me, yes, Brian?
If I knew somebody,
I would say you need to get that money into our bank account. Done.
So,
Like I said, I'm flexible. I just don't want to take them home. Okay, so first thing up, HomePod. I'm going to bring us some living history. Apple decided, yeah, we're going to stop this. And they stopped selling these. Just to show you, the iPod would fit up on the top here. There were different dock mounts that you could use for different ones in here. That's the speaker setup for this. I have a Bluetooth adapter on here, so I can still use this. And I was able to just stream music from my phone to here via this Bluetooth adapter. I think I spent $24 for that adapter to make that work. The HomePod is Apple's new entry into the speaker market. It's pretty amazing in the limited time that I've had it. And I'm going to go over pros and cons with this. A lot of people have been razzing it, giving it a hard time, because it doesn't quite do what a lot of other smart speakers can do. And while Siri was the first AI in smart speakers, you know, with on the iPhones and that, the other companies have made some big leaps and bounds. In full disclosure, I have a house full of Sonos speakers. I love the Sonos speakers. They are amazing. And I have the Sonos One that has the Alexa built into it. And that's really nice too. This has
I'm
Siri.
having Wi-Fi issues.
Of
Look
course
in the
you
Home
are.
app associated with this HomePod for more information.
So she likes to talk to you too. Yes.
I just, some of these smart devices not only talk to each other, but collect data from you, what you're using, what you're doing, and report back to your manufacturer about you. So how secure are these?
So I'm very glad you brought that up. I really am. Because it's really strange that Alexa knows when you say, oh, we're out of rice. And then when you go online next, the ads are targeted to what you're out of. And they say that your privacy is protected. I don't really believe that. I really don't.
Protected from us.
Right. It's something for them to use. And so with that being said, supposedly you can tell Alexa to stop listening, and it turns the mic off. Apple has always been a company that's valued our privacy above everything else because they want our trust. And my understanding is that the HomePod will not do the same thing that the Echo will do, or that the Google Home will do, where it's not always keeping track of things. So I think that's a very good question, and we'll know more in the future on how secure that is. I'm going with the assumption right now that it's more secure than the Google Home or the Amazon Echo right now, based on those kind of situations. So the slide up.
But that's based on faith, nothing.
That's true. But I also have my faith in the Apple products, keeping all my iCloud stuff safe and private. I also have my faith in Apple telling me that they're not going to give the government a backdoor into my devices. Now, there's pros and cons to that. all over the place. And that is something that I would say is more of a personal level than anything else. But Apple has said and has shown that our privacy is their utmost concern. And I'm hoping that they stay true to their word. The other companies, they're gathering that data because they sell that data. So I made a joke with a customer the other day, and I said her husband was giving her a hard time. A little unreasonable, but sort of a hard time. And I looked at her and I said, okay, so next time you're using his computer, do a Google search for adult diapers. And she looked at me and she's like, why? I said, because in all his search history, it'll be in his search history, and going forward, you know, if you shop on Amazon or something like that, that's going to pop up a lot. And the ads on the side pages are going to do that too. And she's just like, you're really mean. And I said, you should meet my wife.
My words.
Yes. Yeah. So it was one of those, if you're looking for an innocent way to fight back, that's a really good way to do it, because you go on Amazon and you search LED lights, and then the next day you're on other websites, and LED lights are popping up all over in the ads because they're tracking you. Even if in Safari you have turned on please don't track, you've asked them. They don't have to listen to you. Right, and because they are mining all that data to sell to advertisers. That's how they make their money. Because you're like, how can they give away this service? Well, that's how. And Google is just the same way. Bing is the same way. All the search engines. My favorite search engine at the moment is one called DuckDuckGo, because they truly value your privacy and keep it that way. So I like that a lot. And, you know, the people that, I don't want to refer to them as tinfoil wearing people, but some of those folks, we give that advice to them. Maybe you should try this browser, maybe this search engine. So there's one called iCab, and on the iPads and phones, it's iCab Mobile. I believe iCab is available for the regular one. There's Opera. I don't trust Google Chrome. Okay. I am not sure. Did I? Because the search engines I know, Firefox, Safari, Chrome. I like iCab Mobile. Opera I've used here or there. But iCab is, I think, it's a really bare bones browser, and it's really good. So, Jack, do you have any recommendations on browsers for privacy? Okay.
If they want their stuff, they're going to get it.
Yeah.
Don't put it out there.
Well, there's that. Okay. So let's get rolling here. Okay. So this speaker, I think, sounds pretty darn good. I can put 6 D-cell batteries in it and carry it around with me. I'm not going to. It's heavy enough as it is. This thing sounds even better because of all the features that Apple baked into it. It has as they say, a high excursion woofer with custom amplifier. There is an array of 7 horn-loaded tweeters, each with their own custom amplifier, 6 microphone array for Siri, So I have found that anywhere in the room I am in with the speaker, no matter if I'm talking softly or loudly, Siri hears me. And I like that. It has automatic bass correction via an internal low-frequency calibration microphone. So the whole point behind that is just so the low end doesn't get muddy. So it keeps it clean and crisp. The processing inside of this thing is studio level, which is really amazing sounds. My sister is a musician. I have been in recording studios and heard things. And when you're on this side of the glass and you're hearing it through those speakers, it raises the hair on your arms because you're like, oh, I didn't know it could sound this good. You know, and it really is like you're sitting in the middle of the band while they're playing. Mike?
Could that be used?
No, not yet. It also has direct and ambient audio beamforming. That is a fancy term for, again, anywhere you are in that room, it's the same level of sound. How many times have you been in a room listening to a speaker that's playing and you walk to one corner and the sound quality changes and it's really poor? Yeah, so this just truly fills the room, and no matter where you are at, that sound is the same as if you are right up on top of it. This is a quote from Steve Jobs about this. I truly doubt this replaced his home stereo. But I have seen pictures in his home office with this being on a shelf nearby. Okay. So, is it going to replace your home stereo? No, I don't think so. Not yet. I replaced my home stereo system with the Sonos system because I don't need to have a DVD player anymore. I don't need a big receiver. I have these speakers hooked up. They all run wirelessly, and they work with my Apple TV like nobody's business. Yes, please. I am so happy you asked that question. What did they say? What did they say? Right. So, yes and no to your question. So, can it be hooked up to a television to improve sound? Yes, it can, if you have an Apple TV. In the Apple TV, you connect it via Bluetooth, and it plays from Bluetooth from the Apple TV to wherever you have the speaker. So, we'll get there in a second. You're going to like this answer. So, again, going back to this guy a little bit, this was Apple's first attempt into the high-end speaker market. And the lower right picture was the window display at all the Apple stores when it came out, where they went for that shattered glass effect, saying that, oh, it's so powerful. It can get really loud. So that's that. System requirements for the HomePod to work. You need to be running iOS 11.2.5. Period. You have to be at least that to make it to pair up with the HomePod.
Later.
Well, there's not later yet. Now, there will be, and it'll still work. As far as the equipment, you need at least an iPhone 5S or iPhone SE. You need, or iPhone 6, 6S, 7, 8, or 10. As long as the iPhone can run 11.2.5, you're in business. It will also work with an iPad Air or Air 2 or the new 5th gen, as they say, iPad. It'll work with any of the iPad Pros. It will work with an iPad Mini 2 or higher. And that is because the original iPad Mini cannot run 11.2.5. It'll work with an iPod Touch, the 6th generation, running 11.2.5 as well. It uses 802.11 Wi-Fi for its access. In my house, I am running 802.11 AC through my time capsule. And my understanding is if you're running older Wi-Fi equipment that maybe is B or G, you're going to have problems. If you're running N, it should work, but your mileage may vary. It is designed to be working with 802.11 AC technology and then the newer stuff. And then for full music functionality, an Apple Music subscription would be a wonderful thing to allow you to just tell Siri, hey, play this, and it will. At the moment, the Bluetooth that is inside of the HomePod does not allow Bluetooth streaming from other devices to this. So if you had an Android device that you wanted to stream it to, it doesn't work. This really does work in the Apple ecosystem right now, all by itself. If you have a device that will allow you to do AirPlay, there's a possibility that if it's a non-Apple device, you will be able to make it work, but there is no promises being made on that. Yep. So it needs Wi-Fi, and when you set it up, it needs an iPhone. If you try to set it up with an iPad, in initial setup, it won't work. I set this thing up at home in 2 minutes. And this is how hard it was. I plugged it in, I tapped the top of it, I got into my phone, got to my main screen, and I held the phone near the HomePod, and it picked up. Hey, there's a HomePod here. Do you want to connect? Yes. Boom. All right, this is your Wi-Fi. You want to connect to this Wi-Fi? Yes. Okay. And then I was able to play music. I can't connect to the Wi-Fi here because I connected to the one at home. So I would have to set it back up again to work here. I was hoping I wouldn't have to. It would just pick up and go from here. But apparently it's not doing that. Now, I would love to play the music for you as well.
I'm having Wi-Fi issues. Look in the Home app associated with this HomePod for more information.
So, in a second.
My son was injured last year.
Right.
And his dad bought him one of these. And he had Alexa, well, it was amazing. He said, Alexa, play.
Well, that's on the Echoes.
Yeah.
This is not an Echo.
I'm having Wi-Fi issues.
It was an app.
Look in the Home app associated with this HomePod for more information.
Okay, so I am not going to be playing any music through her today, unfortunately.
Because I have,
Yeah,
it's great.
sure.
And I've had it.
Right.
And what I did is for $13, I put in a receiver for Wi-Fi on one of my Panasonic stairs.
Okay.
I paired it.
Yep.
And I just recently paired it again. I've got a theater inside of the basement.
Okay.
And I've got two stereo infinity quantum.
I do.
The thing is that I set that up there.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want there and listen to music,
Sure.
the same thing.
Okay.
I listen to radio that is not.
Fine. Yeah, that's and as you should.
And I will also, when I station, WGZ,
Mm-hmm.
you have to listen to these,
Right. Yeah. Which is perfect. So what the HomePod can do if you have an Apple Music, you have access to every song in iTunes with an Apple Music account. And you can tell this to play anything. You can even have it, if you've created a playlist on your phone or your iPad, you can tell it to play that playlist because it is associated with it. Now, this photo shows the inside of what this looks like. And it shows all the microphones, all the tweeters. It's heavy. It is not light. But then again, for the sound that it puts out with the subwoofer, or the woofer that is in there, that's why. That's a lot of magnet that's holding it up. So with that being said, I want to answer your question. So in real world experience, the TV in our bedroom is at one end of the room. The Apple TV is right next to it. I can never hear what they're saying in the movie if they're talking softly. Drives me crazy. And even though I can tap the remote and say, what did they say? And Siri will put it up on, or Siri will take it and then throw it on the screen. It drives my wife crazy every time I say that. I put this.
There's a problem with the Wi-Fi.
Yes, we know.
For more
I put this. Our headboard is flat. And my wife puts decorative things up there. I put this up there. In the middle, right here. And I'm like, okay. And I watched a documentary that was mostly spoken word and people that speak softly. And I heard every last bit of it. And it was, this is what I wanted, because my wife won't let me put speakers up other places in the room. But this will just, I connected it to the Apple TV through Bluetooth, because what I was doing is I would take my AirPods and I would pair those to the Apple TV, and I could watch TV in bed and not disturb her until I left. But that worked. So now when we're watching a movie together, this plays. Sound is amazing. It's clear. You hear everything. Even the softest, somebody almost whispering, you hear it clearly. Now, is it because the speaker's behind my head instead of 15 feet away? Probably. But I can get up and walk around the room and it's the same whisper anywhere I go. So the technology that they've put into this really is mind-blowing for what it can do.
Behind you, how do you get the right and left?
There is no right and left. The sound on here is designed to sort of like surround sound. So it picks it. It doesn't do stereo. So we'll get there in a second.
So you can pick
So,
it up stereo list.
yeah. So if you watch somebody walking from one side to the other on the screen, you hear it that way too. And they say that the ability to put this in stereo mode with another one is coming with the future update. So let me finish what I need to do before we run out of time. So the best thing I can say is, how many people remember the first time they put on a good set of headphones and listened to their favorite music? Wasn't it amazing? It was just like, I never heard that before. And things like that. That's what this does. As I said, stereo pairing is coming. It's going to be in a future update. The sound will fill the room like no other speaker I've ever heard. I am heavy into the Sonos speakers in our house, and I have one in our bedroom, and the sound's great. It really is good. But this is better. Right now, you cannot do multi-room setup like I can with my Sonos, but it's coming, they say, along with the stereo pairing. So future update. So we've got a product that it's ready for the market, but a lot of people are saying, well, but all these features aren't there. Well, how many of our Apple products have we owned where not all the features were there right out of the box? They came out with some amazing things, but they keep getting better. The Apple Watch in particular, why would you want to buy an Apple Watch? Oh, okay. But now, oh yeah, and I'm on the first generation like she is, or well, she's on Series 1. It's still great. It still does what I need. And like I told her, this will pair with your Apple TV to give you a soundbar effect. So you could put this anywhere in the room you wanted and get that really good sound. In my personal case, yeah, right up above my head so I can hear everything. That's wonderful. This is my pro and con. Siri is not as good as she is on your phone. Siri on here seems to have a little handicap. She's not quite as fast. She's not quite as bright as Siri on your phone.
I'm
or
having
an iPad.
Wi-Fi issues.
Yes.
Look in the Home app associated.
Thank you. As I said, so, and then the last thing is rings. If you saw in the news this week, there are people that are saying that this speaker on certain wood furniture, the silicone ring on the bottom here is leaving a ring. And that is on typically furniture that always has to be oiled. Sort of like leaving a wet glass or a sweating glass on a piece of good furniture. It can leave a ring. They have also found that the Sonos speaker has a silicone base on it too, and they leave little marks, not quite a full ring, but 3/4 of a ring kind of thing. The Amazon Echo has a silicone feed on it too. That is just the nature of silicone in certain wood with the finish that's on there. So that would be an option. Put a doily. So there is a company called Pad and Quill, I think it is. They are making a hand-stitched leather coaster for the HomePod to put under there. It would not surprise me if Apple throws one out there in the future as well. But yeah, Pad and Quill is doing it, and I think it's stupid. It's like $79. But it's real leather, and it's hand-stitched, and it's a circle, and it looks wonderful, but no thanks. Yeah, so the other speakers will do the same thing on certain furniture. If that's an issue for you, then find a different location for it. I don't want to do the Steve Jobs, you're holding it wrong with the iPhone thing. But if that's the case for you, then yeah, put something underneath it so you don't get it. That's just the nature of silicone. So, speaking of silicone in speakers, that's a big pad of silicone on the bottom of this. So that too, if I put that on good furniture, like the tea cart in our back room, I would be dead. Same with this, but that's not going there. So that's where that is. So I am terribly sorry that I can't get her to play today. I will try and fix that for next time. And I'll bring it back and we'll play it again. Jim?
Really quick questions. How did you hide the power cords so it didn't bother your Wi-Fi? And what color is the power cord?
Black. And it's not a plastic cable. It's like braided. So it'll move and twist quite well. It is plugged in the back of the speaker. With enough force, you can unplug it. You can, with enough force. You shouldn't need to. Regular outlet. Oh, on the back of this? Just regular outlet. It's not a 3-prong plug either, which surprised me. It's just a 2-prong plug.
Polarized.
On the top of this, you can see a plus and a minus, and that's for your volume. You can also tell Siri to raise volume, to lower volume, and she does it. And if you just say Siri louder, and it'll go up. If you tap on the top,
There's a problem with the Wi-Fi.
as we found out,
Take a look in the home
but this
app
is Siri
associated
on
with this
here,
HomePod.
just this little, the cloudy thing.
Power cord polarized. The neutral is large. And the
No, surprisingly, it's not. So that's where we're at with this. Just to throw this up right now, tonight's Afterglow is at Kirby's Coney Island. For all your fine dining with mustard and onions, go to Kirby's. So the HomePod sells for $349. You can get Apple Care for it, which I would recommend because it's rather inexpensive. And if it falls and it gets a dent in the side, it's a whole lot cheaper than having to buy pretty much a whole new HomePod out of it. So that's where we're at there. Hang on, I'll show you. It's about 7 feet. Yeah, I'd say it's about 7 feet.
One thing to keep in mind, after that whole discussion about using it as a sound bar, it will only work with the things you watch on Apple TV.
Correct.
You watch
Sorry.
anything, any other way, if you got a TiVo, a cable box, you watch over the air, you cannot play your
Right.
sound through that.
That's
only what you watch on the Apple TV.
correct.
No,
If it's on your Apple TV, if a Netflix app is on your Apple TV, then yes, you can. But if you were trying to watch over-the-air TV, like Channel 7, through this, it won't play through that. It has to go through the Apple TV to do it. So it won't do it through the television, even if it's a smart TV. Now, in the future, that might change. But for right now, it is in the Apple ecosystem. Okay, thank you. All right. Give me a sec here.